Hey everyone, what is happening? Well, we're going to be talking a little bit about ecosystems today. Now, we've been looking at biomes so far, and biomes are fairly big. There's about 8 of them, depending on how you look at it, and we're going to look at something a little bit smaller today. So, biomes can be subdivided into smaller divisions called ecosystems. And an ecosystem has abiotic components such as oxygen, water, and nutrients. Now remember, abiotic is non-living. It also has similar amount of light, and it also has similar types of soil, and they all interact with the biotic components. And remember that the biotic is living. So these are plants, animals, and microorganisms. So for example, the coastal Douglas fir ecosystems on Vancouver Island. So we have inside each ecosystem, there are habitats. And these can be large or small. Now, a habitat is a place where organisms live. So if we think about this, we could have a massive forest, so a whole forest. Or we could just have something small like a rotting log. It's its own habitat. So there could be a whole bunch of different animals living on that rotten log. Now, within a habitat, there has to be nutrients. So these nutrients are phosphorus and nitrogen, and they're chemicals that are needed for plant and animal growth. Now, without these nutrients, we wouldn't get enough plants. And without plants, we wouldn't have any animals. There'd be nowhere to live, there'd be no food to eat, and therefore there would be no other animals to eat the other animals. So finally, we look at light, and it's needed for photosynthesis, which allows leafy green plants to produce their own energy, and in turn, this provides energy for animals. Now, the soil also provides nutrients for many types of organisms such as plants and bacteria. They help break things down, and they help provide even more nutrients for plants and in turn animals. So we've looked at an ecosystem, and we've broken a biome down into an ecosystem, and now within each ecosystem there's some biotic interactions. And these biotic interactions, they start with different animals that cohabitate. So initially, a species is a group of related organisms that can reproduce with each other. That's key. So they can reproduce, so basically it's the same species. So we talk about grizzly bears, that would be a specific species. Robins would be another one. Rattlesnakes would be another example of species. Now, with a species makes up a population. And a population refers to all the members of that species within one ecosystem. So all the grizzly bears in northern BC, that would be a population of grizzly bears in that specific area. That's a specific species. So as we go from one species to multiple species of different animals, they make up a community. And this is a number of different populations of species all interacting with each other. So grizzly bears interact with salmon and berry bushes. Each one of those animals or plants interact with other animals or plants as well. So biotic interactions are sometimes ordered in ecological hierarchy. And so we can take a little look-see here. We go from our individual species, and then we go to our population, and then we go to a community. So that's multiple and multiple different species interacting with each other, and that goes to an ecosystem, which has a whole bunch of different abiotic and biotic factors, and then it goes into a biome, and then finally our last one, it goes into the biosphere. And we talked about biosphere is the thin layer on Earth where life exists. So within a single ecosystem, there are many ways organisms can interact with each other. The first type is symbiosis. Now, symbiosis is an interaction between members of two different species that live together in close association. So really, it's when, and there's 3 types of these interactions. So we've got commensalism, mutualism, and parasitism. So the first one we have is commensalism. And this is an interaction when one species is helped and the other is neither helped nor harmed. So barnacles attached to a whale, the barnacles are transported to new areas of the ocean, but the whale gets no benefit and is not harmed as well. So we have a plus and neutral. So one is benefited, one is helped, and the other one is not harmed. So that's commensalism. Next we've got mutualism. And mutualism is a relationship when both organisms are helped. All right? And so bees pollinate blossoms to get trees to produce, and bees get some nectar to make their honey. So it's a positive thing. It's like when you're in a relationship with somebody and it's a mutual relationship, it means both people are benefiting from that relationship. Next we've got parasitism. And parasitism is a relationship when one species benefits and the other one is harmed. So that would be like if you had a tapeworm living inside you, you are being harmed and it is being benefited by taking from you. It doesn't give anything back to you. So worms living in the intestine of a horse, the worms take the nutrients from the horse's body and the horse loses nutrients that the worm takes. So there's no benefit to the person, to the thing that it's living in. Now, next we've got a niche. Now, a niche is an organism's way it contributes and fits into its environment. Now, within its niche, an organism interacts with others of its own species and other species. So, for example, this would be like a squirrel. It lives in a certain part of trees, and it's going to go and collect certain types of nuts. That would be its niche. It's not going to go try to eat a deer. That's outside of its niche. Now, within a niche, there may be competition. Now, competition is for food, water, sunlight, or habitat. We're not just thinking about animals here, we're thinking about plants as well. It occurs when members of the same or different species are trying to obtain the same resources. This also happens in business. People are trying to fight for your business by offering different things. So think about cell phones for a second. They have competition, so they're going to offer better rates, better plans, better phones. So in the natural world, two plants growing close to each other must compete for food and water, nutrients, and sunlight. So one of them is eventually going to lose out, or they're both not going to do very well. And finally, we're talking about predation. And it refers to the predator-prey relationships where one organism eats another. Many organisms have adaptations to help them to be predators, so this would be like large claws, teeth, sharp eyesight. So they have to be able to, and they're going to be fast. Now, the prey they want to avoid predators, so they're going to have spines or shells, so they're going to really be able to run fast. They might have quills, or they might spray you with really smelly things. Now, the size of a predator and prey populations can affect each other in the lynx and the rabbit. All right, so as the rabbits go up, the lynx also goes up. As the rabbits fall, so we can see the rabbit population fall, we can also see the lynx population fall, and there's a little bit of a lag. We're going to be talking more about this in class, but I hope you have a good day. Talk to you later.